Hello, everybody. Wildman Z here for my ninth edition of my library tour 2022 with a lot of books, mainly that I haven't read. A few that I've read or read partially. Here's one of the ones I've read partially. This is the compilation of sci-fi for 2020, the year's best science fiction, volume one by Jonathan Strahan. I'm not familiar with him as a sci-fi writer. I read about half or so of these stories, and again, just like the last one I reviewed, just I'm not really feeling the modern sci-fi like I am the old stuff. I guess I'm antiquated. I like some of the stories a little bit, but I wasn't really crazy about any of the ones I've read so far. Maybe it will pick up. Here's a book I've never read, but I constantly hear about it. Edith Wharton's The House of Mirth. I've never read her. Again, like I've said in prior videos, when I was younger, I was kind of the dude bro. I didn't read a lot of books by women or books with female protagonists. I just kind of avoided them. I had to read like Pride and Prejudice in school, and I like Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. I really like that story. But I've abnegated a lot of stories by female writers, except for Ayn Rand. I really like her. So I'm making a big move this year to read more female authors and stories with female protagonists, and looking forward to reading it. I'll probably read it next month or so. It's a graphic novel technically, but it's in my stack of books. So it's called In, and I read it's something like they said like best hardcover graphic novels. I forgot if this was from 2020 or 2021. It's by uh, Will McPhail. I'm not familiar with him, but it's supposedly like if it said something like if you don't understand what your kids are doing, like meaning for a guy like my age and you read comics, this is a good book. It's like about millennials and stuff, and it's got really cool. It's very visual, very few words. Really cool artwork in it. So even if I just like the artwork, it's you know some of it's black and white, some of it's in color. So it kind of looks a little bit like Doonesbury type of thing. So I'm gonna check it out. Curious, I like to be exposed to new things. I heard this man speak. I forgot if he was on Lex Fridman or a show like that. Maybe he was Royal Institute. I watch all their videos. The Hidden Spring by Mark Solms, and he's doing an analytical study of consciousness. I'm not sure what his background, if it's psychiatry or cognitive science or something like that, but again, it has to do with the rudiment of consciousness, which takes us to a lot of problems in modern physics because of quantum mechanics. Things like awareness of experiments can actually affect the outcome when you get to a quantum mechanical level. And, that's one of the two main areas that physics is really kind of divvied up to. Divvied up into the quantum realm and then the relativistic realm. Classical mechanics, Newtonian stuff kind of falls out in the middle. It's sort of the case where things are kind of moving slow and they're medium size. So the Newton's laws really aren't laws. They're really good approximations. You can derive a lot of them out with what's called Ehrenfest theorems from the fundamentals of, for example, quantum mechanics. So I'm really interested to read that. Here's a book I love. I don't really read books like this. I just utilize them to identify birds and things like that. This is Sibley's Guide to Birds, which if you like field guides, this you should have this one and a Peterson field guide. Look at that red-tailed hawk. I see red-tailed hawks just about every day in my yard, and they're magnificent. As you can see, it has like the rust-colored tail. I saw one yesterday grab a rabbit. I was doing cardio out in my yard. I was doing like power walking with 45-pound plates around my yard. I have a big piece of property, about an acre and some change. And I walked past the little rabbit. He came out of his hole and he was nibbling on some a little moss or something. And I came back. He's dumb. I walked right past him. And then next lap I did, I saw something drop, and it was a red-tailed hawk, and he got him, and he ate him in my neighbor's tree. I also saw a red-tailed hawk about a week ago dive bomb a bald eagle that was flying probably to the harbor. We have a harbor about a half mile away, and not a little more than about a mile away, I guess. And I saw a red-tailed hawk. I was working out outside, and he came shooting across the yard, really flying quickly, almost like a Cooper's hawk, but he was, red tail. And then I looked, and over my neighbor's house, there was a bald eagle soaring, and he dive bombed the eagle. The eagle turned upside down, and it was really great. And so those birds are definitive, but sometimes you run into guys who aren't. You get to the gulls. Gulls have a lot of color phases as they mature, 5, 6, 7 sometimes for certain species. So hard to identify. And then you got these obscure birds, like you got nighthawks and whippoorwills and guys like that who are cryptic birds. They're sort of they blend in with the leaf litter, and they're hard to distinguish if you ever do see one in the daytime. Very hard. You get a lot of. I feed the birds. I put suet out. I put sunflower seeds. I put a finch feed out. I throw stuff on the board. Sunflower seeds and deer feed for the deer, and everybody eats it. So I feed a lot of animals. Right now, there's probably raccoons out back feeding, and I live in the suburbs, but there's a little patch of woods behind me, maybe 2 or 3 acres. It's contiguous with the beach, and then there's a 60-acre parcel that's preserved, thankfully, by the town, and so a lot of birds are attracted to that. I've got 2 books here. They're tied together. These are more Euripides, which I haven't read. I've been focusing on the Euripides of the Trojan women. This is the Bacchae and other plays, and this is Medea and other plays. So I'm curious to read these. I'm really trying to get. I get these about a few months ago. I'm really trying to get into the Greek plays, particularly the drama, the comedy, Aristophanes. I just don't get it. I mean, I'm going to keep trying to read it, but it's really hard for me to get the jokes. Here's I just got this from Thrift Books. I actually bought this new. I wanted to have it. Shirley Jackson, the complete collection, and I think it's her complete collection. It says a landmark edition including all 6 novels and 46 classic stories. I'm limited with her. I've read a couple of her short stories, including The Lottery, which is probably her most famous short story. And I saw that one movie, We Always Lived in a Castle. I think that's the title of it. And it was really creepy and cool. I said, boy, this woman is a great writer. And so here she is on the side. And I know there's a movie about her, too. She supposedly had a pretty interesting life. I don't know much about her, but I'm dying to read these books. I hear she's really good in that, sort of the moody horror. And I'm into moody horror and mythical horror and stuff like that. I'm not into slasher movies, but I really dig things like the original Wicker Man, not the Nick Cage Wicker Man. That's horrible. The bees are eating me. That one, not that one. The original one with Sir Christopher Lee. And recently, like Midsummer and Heredity, movies like that. So I think she's kind of more in line with that kind of stuff, not the slasher horror. So I want to read her. I got some other books that are just loose out here. I got a minute or two to talk. Here's an interesting book I'm reading by Lanza. Robert Lanza. He's a real famous stem cell biologist, and he's a Nobel laureate level guy. I mean, this guy is really sharp. I listen to all his talks. I'm up in the air about this. It's a theory called biocentrism. It's a physical theory, and it's aberrant from regular physics because it presents the perspectives that not only are we the observers affecting experiments, but biological organisms are really dictating what physics is. The observation here is sort of supplants the actual physical act, and the problem I have with it is, I'm sort of aligned with physics. I came from a physical chemistry background. Is there's no equations in here, and he doesn't. It's not like he has technical papers that out there like Einstein and Hawkins did, and then they put out a popular book. He's kind of putting this forth as a popular philosophy book without having first put out, to my knowledge, and he should cite it in here if he does have the papers. I mean, I looked, I did Sci-Fi and Scholar, when I Google searched it, I went online, went to his page. I can't find it. I think he's coming out with something now, but I wouldn't put out a book proposing a theory that was a popular layman's book before having the rigorous paper and physical review letters or whatever journal you're going to publish it in. So there's numerous physics journals that would publish this kind of stuff, and I'm not saying his theories are invalid, but I'm just he doesn't state them either as like fundamental theories. Like, here you go, here are the equations of state. It's just like he's talking about this, and so it strikes me more as philosophy than it does actual rigorous physics. But on that note, I only got a few seconds left here. That's what I'm reading or going to read in the near future. That's some of the books out of my library and one off my couch here where I like to read. So I hope everybody has a good day. It's a little chilly here in New York, but nothing significant like it used to be in light of the climate change. So I'm Wildman Z, and I'm out. Take care.